This is a giant alligator snapping turtle. And this is my friend Greg. See, Greg runs a channel aptly named Greg's Turtle Haven, where he's the foremost expert on alligator snapping turtles. He's got all kinds of crazy critters. He's got box turtles, he's got cooters, sliders, map turtles, literally everything. But Greg's primary focus are these alligator snapping turtles, of which he has this guy, Tony. Tony is one of his most beloved alligator snapping turtles. So when Greg sends me this video and says, hey, I'm building a pond for Tony, this is how far I am, and I don't know how to do a skimmer, I said, yeah, I'm on my way. When I arrived at Greg's, I immediately just started digging. I grabbed the shovel and put the skimmer in the ground. But this was my first time dealing with annoying, shitty, stupid clay, Georgia clay. Georgia clay, no fun. Georgia clay sucks. So that was not fun, but setting the skimmer sets the water level for the entire pond. Like wherever you put the skimmer, that's where your water level is gonna be, because the pump sits in the skimmer and the water level is about 2 inches below the top of the skimmer. So I got everything framed perfectly. I have the liner nice and pressed against. All I have to do is silicone between the liner and the skimmer to make a gasket. And then you put the faceplate on, you put the screws in, and it presses the faceplate in. And then I also left an entire fold of liner underneath the skimmer just in case Dan messes up or there's a hole somewhere or something. What you can do is take all that liner, and wherever you cut out the faceplate, because now you have a hole in your liner, you just take the liner and unfold it and lift it up, and all your problems go up and away. And the skimmer, like I said, is where the pump goes. See, it's got like a pre-filter, it's got the pipe that goes out, that pipe leads to the waterfall box to make a recirculating system. So there I am, all ready to do the silicone. I try squeezing the bottle, it's completely hardened. It's totally cured. It's brand new. I just opened this thing up, and the silicone is, I was so ready. I was so mentally ready to do this, and the silicone's cured. So we run to Home Depot, I do the skimmer quick, and then we move this gargantuan 400-pound rock. Me, Christian Cave, Caveman Wildlife, and Greg, we got this thing on a dolly and pulled and pushed the thing all the way across the yard to be our first like boulder. Big rocks like that are just perfect to fit in waterfalls. So I was like, it needs to go there. It needs to, I don't care how we do it. It needs to go there. So that's what we did. So that's what we did.
So that rock was sitting right there, and we wheeled it, and pulled down this way. See the tracks? And we pulled it, and pulled, and kept going, and kept going, and all the way through here, through the work zone, up through here. That was fun. All the way around, all the way over to there, where that rock now sits.
Yeah, spoiler warning, I filmed that last clip after the whole pond was done. Don't look closely, okay? Wait for the end. The next part was to plumb the actual skimmer. So basically you just take alcohol, you clean up the one inside of the pipe, you clean up the outside of the other end of the pipe, and then we put on this purple primer, just gets everything ready to weld together permanently forever. Then we use the PVC glue and throw that right over top. This stuff chemically on the molecular level bonds together these two things. You shove it in and then you twist it, and then you hold it there for just a couple of seconds, and then it's chemically bonded there forever. You will never remove that in 1,000 million years. You cannot pull that apart, period. Then I blacked out, and when I woke up, I had somehow managed to finish the rocking in of the waterfall. I don't know, I just get in the zone, and then I don't even film, and then it was done. I blacked out, I woke up, I opened my eyes, oh, the waterfall's done, great, I did a great job. So it was time to foam in the waterfall. The foam expands in between the cracks and crevices and pushes the water where you want it to go, and it solidifies pretty quick. So I went to start foaming, and the plastic tip just fell right off.
So I was just using this, pushing the little thing forward, and the foam wasn't coming out. And then it just, with like no pressure, snapped off.
So at this point I have a few options. Do I A, go purchase more foam, B, try to jerry rig a different little pipe in there, or C, shove a screwdriver in it? Yeah, so the foam exploded everywhere. This stuff cures incredibly fast, and so it specifically says not to get onto your skin, and it got all up my arm like I'm freaking Venom. Greg's father-in-law is from Thailand, and so he just comes out with a whole thing of gasoline and just starts dumping it on my arm, and it was actually working. It was getting a good, because we didn't have acetone, okay? I don't want to hear it. At this point, it had already started to cure and lumped in the hairs of my arm because I'm a big hairy Sam squint. So as I tried to use a buzzer, and it's just getting stuck in the buzzer and grinding up my hair. It hurt, but you know what hurt a lot less? Just just ripping the hairs out. So that's what I did. And then I had a little bald spot on my arm. It's finally grown back. Don't worry, kids. After that, we needed more rocks and supplies, so we drove out to the middle of nowhere, like an hour and a half, and we loaded a big log on Greg's car and loaded up the trunk with as many rocks as we could fit. My car held all the wood, Greg's car held all the rocks, and he had that giant log on top. So towards the end of day one, I think this was only day one, we have a whole bunch of rocks, we've got all of the logs, we got all the decorations set out, and we're ready to continue rocking everything in. I think at this point, the waterfall is done as well. I went through and we had to just end up buying more foam. Yeah, the waterfall's all done, the skimmer's all done at this point. We're making really good progress, and all we realistically have to do is continue rocking everything in. Greg made this cool underpass with this giant stump of driftwood that he thought Tony would like to go up and underneath. It was really cool. So the next morning, I see everything, just kind of assessing what we need to do next, which is just throw a bunch more, just rock the whole darn thing in. My goal was to get hopefully water in this thing by the end of this day. Greg has this gravel that he saved from when this was previously a pond, but it's all mixed with dirt and garbage, so we just end up taking buckets full of the gravel and throwing it between the large rocks that we placed to fill in the cracks. It also stops the turtles from being able to get in there and pry the rocks apart. But it's all dirty, so I just rinse it off, and we're making good progress. I'm rinsing all the dirt away. We're pumping the dirty, icky, nasty mud water out of there. It's also rinsing away a lot of the gravel, but it just settles in nice little spots between all the rocks. Like I said, it really helps to lock everything in and stops the turtles from being able to get back in. So at this point, we have some more logs placed. We have things rocked in like a little bit better than we did before. I think at this point, we've used up almost all of our rocks. Greg and Christian are gonna go make a separate trip. We're also foaming in with just some great stuff foam, some contact points that are kind of loose. That way the snapping turtle cannot pull them apart. And now the skimmer's done. We got rocks placed. We're starting to fill it up. Greg's a happy camper. He's up to his little knees and thing. He does this. I don't. And at this point, we get our first look of the waterfall running, which was awesome. These aquascape pumps, they rip. And this was on level 2, and it goes up to 10.
That's a 1?
That's at 1, yeah.
Okay, so between the waterfall of the last clip and the next clip you're about to see, there was a leak by the skimmer, so I assumed that my seal did not work well enough. So I redid the entire skimmer. We drained the water level back down. I had to stay a full extra day, and it turns out that the skimmer wasn't the problem. There were just some holes punctured by a rock that I placed next to the skimmer. I redid the skimmer, and I didn't have to. I don't care though, because it was problem solved. I ended up manipulating the liner in a way that the holes, the 3 holes that there were in the faceplate of the skimmer that would have had to have been cut out anyway, so it worked out nicely. Again, this is why we keep, remember that fold of liner that I said, oh, if you mess up, you can just lift it up. That's why we do this. That's why you put the fold. So you can see where the actual holes are, but it doesn't matter at this point because this all is gonna get cut out in order to allow the water to go through into the back of the skimmer where the pump sits, where it sends it through that pipe that we plumbed earlier and up into the waterfall. Oh no, oh great heavens. We'll deal with that another time. Yes, I know I went overboard on the silicone. Yes, I know it's white and ugly like me. I don't care. It's going to work. It's going to be functional, and that white will attract sunlight, which will then grow a bunch of algae. I'm not worried about it, okay? All right, so everything's looking good. We got the skimmer all leveled out. We're starting to plant things at this point. We are back in business. I had to stay an extra 2 days, which is double the amount of time I planned on staying. Don't care. I want to help. Greg is screwing in some of the wood in order to stop it from moving. He's just using stainless steel screws. That's what he learned from Tanner Serpa, Mr. Serpa Design. We're filling up the waterfall portion of the pond. We're just filling it up basically. And finally, after filling the whole thing up, we're ready to kick this thing on and keep it running, mind you.
Well, that's a volume of water that's already in there, right?
Oh wait, yeah, I will.
Oh, I can see her down there now.
The first inhabitant of the completed pond, funny enough, is a freaking red ear slider. Just this giant one that was found. I don't remember where Greg found it, but it's kind of megacephalic. It's got a big old head. Beautiful creature. It's huge, so she can't get munched on by Tony. And we send her little butt into the pond. At this point, things are looking really, really good at the pond. It was time to release Tony into his brand new home.
Let me just make sure I have like a solid footing.
spot.
Yeah.
Now listen, I know the pond, like the edge work doesn't look great. I know that it looks a little bit uncompleted, but the main component, the main point was that this thing was running and Greg could do all that touch-up work and whatnot on his own. I had to go home. I have my own critters I need to take care of. That large rock that we have is working perfectly where I want the water to come down and bounce off it and go down at an angle. Everything that we had was working out really nicely. And better yet, the pond looked absolutely beautiful. Here are a few update videos. This is about 3 months later. You can see the pond starting to get some string algae, but the water's beautifully clear. It's got these lovely tannins, which is great for the alligator snapping turtles. They love the tannins. And yeah, that's how we took this large aquascape pond kit and turned it into an alligator snapping turtle pond. If you want to see more of that pond, go to Greg's channel. That's Greg's Turtle Haven. Join my Patreon if you want to see projects like this behind the scenes. Consider subscribing if you love me, and if you don't, well, I'll see y'all in the next one.